But our topic for today is Guide User API. Okay, our topic for today is Glide User API. But I have to tell you the difference between client and server. Client is nothing but form, you can say. Server is nothing but database, we can say. Okay. List, you can say database. Getting my point? Let me just open one incident form. Okay. Let me just open incident list. This is form. This is a list. Okay. 10177. Okay. INC 001017. This number is only now there in the client. Okay. We'll see is this number is there in the server or not. It is not there in the server. Okay. Once I fill the field values, okay, save this one. This will be stored in the server. Now you can see 10177 is there in the server. Okay. This particular sales is the sales value is there in the server or not? You tell me. The sales value is there in the server or not? You tell me. Let me just go to user department field. Sales is there in the database. Sales is there in the database. Okay. This test value is there in the database or not? This test value is also there in the database. Now I am actually entering 6789. This test 6789 value is there in the database or not? It is now there on the client. It is now there on the client. Once you save this one, this will go to server. Now you can see test 6789 is there in the server. Getting my point? Hmm? Do you understand what is client? Suppose I will enter something here, subcategory. This antivirus value is there in the client or server? This antivirus value is there in the client or server? Hmm? It is still there in the client. Okay, let me just refresh this one. Once I refresh this one, the value will be gone. That is there in the still on the client. Okay, once I save this one, the value will go to server. Server means the value will be stored in the database. Subcategory, right? Just pull subcategory field here. You can see antivirus there in the now server. So here in ServiceNow, you will be hearing mostly client server, client server, client server. And you will be hearing a lot. Okay. Before the value stored, the value will be in the client. You will enter some value, guys. Before you save it, it will be there in the client. Once you save it, that will go to server. You understand? Hmm? Getting my point? Okay, fine. Well, here guys, we have client side and we have server side. Guys, remember we'll be using this continuously. Client side, server side, client side. I'll be talking about this client side and server side throughout the training. You must come back to this particular session every time to understand even more better. You must come to this session. This session you should not leave. You should be going through every time so that at the end you will get some clarity. This session you have to go through it thoroughly. Okay. So client side means UI policies. UI policies comes under client side. Hmm? Client scripts comes under client side. Client UI actions comes under client side. Hmm? UI pages comes under client side. UI macros comes under client side. UI scripts comes under client side. These are the scripting areas. Okay. In these areas, you should only use client side APIs plus JavaScript. These areas are client side scripting area. Here we will use client side APIs plus JavaScript. Okay. And here we have business rules, script includes, scheduled jobs, script actions, reference qualifiers, workflows, flow designers, hmm, ACLs. So here you can only use server side APIs plus JavaScript. Okay. Here you can use client side APIs plus JavaScript in the client side script. So we have server side UI actions as well. In all these places, you should use server side APIs plus JavaScript. Hmm? So we are completed with the JavaScript part. We have discussed about JavaScript. Now we will start about client side APIs, which are useful in the client side scripting. Okay. Getting my point. This session you have to revise continuously. Okay. Okay. Well, client-side APIs. Under client-side APIs, GlideUser comes under client-side API. Okay. Glide Farm API. Glide Ajax. Dialog window. Glide model. Glide model form. Glide list. Glide navigation. Glide scratch pad. Glide flow. Glide URL. These all are APIs comes under client-side APIs. These all comes under client-side APIs. Okay. Out of these, we are going to start about GlideUser API. So, Ardhamainda Raja, just a moment. Okay. GlideUser API is a client-side API. Is a client-side API. Okay. Which can only be used in the client side, which can only be used in the client side, which is used to get currently logged in user information. Okay. Glide API is a client side API, which can only be used in the client side, which is used to get the currently logged in user information. So remember this point, currently logged in user information. If you go to the user account, see here, currently logged in user account is system administrator. Go to the user account, user administration, go to the users. System administrator is the currently logged in user. System administrator is the currently logged in user. So who is the currently logged in user here? System administrator. System administrator user account is the currently logged in user account. So if I want current logged in user first name, then I can use GlideUser API. If I want current logged in user last name, if I want current logged in user uh, login name, if I want current logged in user full name, if I want current logged in user system ID, then I can use GlideUser API. Then I can use GlideUser API. Getting my point? Okay. To explain this, I am using just a JavaScript executor. You can use the JavaScript executor on any form. Control Shift J. Control Shift J. So this is a JavaScript executor. Okay. This JavaScript executor is for client-side APIs only. This JavaScript executor won't work for server-side APIs. Okay. So using JavaScript executor, I can explain about GlideUser API, or I can use any of the client-side script area. Now what I'm doing is, I'll do one thing. I will write one client script. Okay. Right click, configure, go to client scripts here. Right click, configure, go to client scripts. Okay. So I'm writing GlideUser overview. I'm selecting onload here. Onload. Within this onload function, so within this onload function, I'm going to explain about GlideUser API. Okay. The GlideUser is accessed in the client-side scripting using G_user. G_user means GlideUser. G_user means GlideUser. So I am going to write G_user here. G_user dot first name. Okay. So this will give you system. Current logged in user first name is system, right? Okay. I am storing var f name. I am creating a JavaScript variable here. So in this JavaScript variable, I am storing current logged in user first name. Okay. Login ID. System ID. Okay. G_user last name means it will give you current logged in user last name. I am storing it in a JavaScript variable. G_user dot first name, G_user dot username. Username means login name. This will give you admin. G_user dot user ID. User ID means it will give you current logged in user. Sorry guys, full name, right? So here you have to use get full name. Get full name. So here you have to use user ID means login ID. System ID. Okay. Login ID means username. System ID means user ID. User ID means system ID. Okay. So current logged in user first name is system. Last name is administrator. Full name is system administrator. And the login name is this one. The system ID is this one. Okay. So these information you can get it using G_user dot first name G underscore user dot last name, G underscore user dot get full name, G underscore user dot username, G underscore user dot user ID. So let me just show them in the alert. First name plus new line. New line means slash and right. So if you log in Vamsi, it will pick your name. Okay, you will log into your account. It will pick your name. If Kumar has logged in, it will pick Kumar name. I'll show you that as well. I'll show you that as well. So I have written a client script. In the client script, I have used JavaScript plus client-side API. It is JavaScript. This variable is a JavaScript. This GlideUser is a client-side API. JavaScript plus client-side API I've used or not. So this client script will run every time when the form is loaded. Every time when you refresh the form, the onload client script will run. You can see, okay, we'll do one thing. This one is actually, I should use backward slash. You can see current logged in user first name, it is giving. Current logged in user last name, it is giving. Current logged in user full name, it is giving. Current logged in user login name, it is giving. Current logged in user system ID, it is giving. Okay. Suppose I have logged in as another employee, able tutor. Okay, I am just now logging in as able tutor. So this impersonate user is for testing. I told you, right? I'm just impersonating as able tutor. I'm just refreshing the form now. Okay, for able tutor, able tutor don't have access to this incident record. We'll do one thing. We'll grant access to able tutor. He doesn't have any permissions. He doesn't have any permission. I'm just giving ITL role. Guys, directly adding ITL role to user account. Don't add roles to directly user accounts. Okay. Okay, now impersonated as able tutor, right? It is giving able tutor name. Whoever has logged in, that person details it will show. If I logged in as Subbarao, it will show Subbarao details. If I logged in as LRO, it will show LRO details. Okay. If I log in as Ramcharan, it will show Ramcharan details. Getting my point? Let me log in as Alin. See, the use cases I'll tell you. Just understand GlideUser API. I'm now logging in as Abraham Lincoln. So don't know Abraham Lincoln has permission or not. Abraham Lincoln doesn't have permission to incident table. I'm using Aline. Aline also doesn't have permission. Okay. We'll do one thing. We'll do one thing. We'll add Abraham Lincoln to one particular role. Okay. We'll impersonate as Abraham Lincoln. It should show Abraham Lincoln details. Okay. Now the current logged in user will be Abraham Lincoln, right? The current logged in user is Abraham Lincoln. When he tries to open the form, when he refreshes the incident form, you can see Abraham Lincoln first name, last name, Abraham Lincoln full name, Abraham Lincoln login name, and Abraham Lincoln system ID. So GlideUser is used to get the currently logged in user information. So use cases I'll show you so that you will get the clarity. Okay, just for now you remember GlideUser can be accessed using G_user. So first of all, GlideUser is a client-side API which can be accessed using G_user. Using G_user, you can get currently logged in user information such as first name, last name, full name, login name, system ID. Okay. Okay. Currently logged in user information and their roles as well. Roles. Remember. So GlideUser is a client-side API which can be only used in the client side, which is used to get the currently logged in user information, and currently logged in user has roles or not, it will check. Hmm? Okay. Sorry guys. So till this point, everybody is clear, right? Let me just I have ended the impersonation, right? I'm going to the client script where I wrote here. Okay. If the currently logged in user has particular role or not, I have to check. If the currently logged in user has particular role, it will give Boolean value. Boolean means true or false. The currently logged in user has particular role, it will give Boolean value true or false. If he doesn't have that role, it will give false. If he has that role, it will give true. Then where is valid user is equal to G underscore user dot has role. So do you think currently logged in user has this particular role? Do you think currently logged in user has this particular role? No, right? I will prove you wrong. He is valid user. Okay. So I am storing Boolean value true or false in this JavaScript variable. Okay. I am just showing as an output. Okay. So I'm going to refresh the form now. It says currently logged in user has that particular role or not. It is saying yes. How come it is possible? So currently logged in user doesn't have this role. You just take this role name, go to the roles under user administration, and check do we have any role as such, right? But it says current logged in user has this particular role. So we'll go to system administrator account and we'll check if currently logged in user has role as such. We'll just click on the search bar. No. Hmm. Currently logged in user have no role as such. But it says true. Okay. Now I'll tell you the behavior of the has role method here. This has role method, first of all, it will check if this particular role is there for the currently logged in user or not. If it is there, it will directly give you Boolean value true. If this role is not there, additionally, it will check current logged in user as admin role or not. Current logged in user is now admin. System administrator is now admin. As role, we'll check the role first. If that role is there to the currently logged in user, it will directly give you true. If that role is not there, additionally, it will check if the current logged in user is admin role guy or not. If the current logged in user doesn't have this role and still he is an admin, then it will say true. Getting my point? Hmm? Do you understand has role purpose? So that is where we have to use another method called has role exactly. This has role exactly method will only check that particular role is there or not. It will not check if he is admin or not, doesn't matter. If the current logged in user has this particular role, then it will say true. If the current logged in user doesn't have this role, it will say false. It will not additionally check if the current logged in user has admin role or not. Has role will do that. Has role exactly will not do that. Now, what is the expected output here? What is the expected output? False. Very good. Let me just refresh this one. The expected output is false here. This question they will ask you in the interviews. What is the difference between has role and has role exactly in the GlideUser? They'll ask you the questions in a different ways. I think I mentioned this in the interview questions as well. Okay. Now we have another method called has roles. Has roles. Here you don't have to pass anything here as a parameter. What exactly it does is that if the currently logged in user has zero roles, it will say false. If the current logged in user has more than zero roles means it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, any number. More than zero, then it will say true. Getting my point? What is the has role will check if the current logged in user has zero roles or more than zero roles. Zero roles, false. More than zero roles, true. Let me refresh this one here. It says true. Hmm? We have has role from list. Okay, here you have to pass list of roles, comma separated, comma, second role, comma, third role, comma, fourth role, comma, fifth role. Do you think a current logged in user has any of the mentioned roles? If the current logged in user has any of the mentioned roles, so total 5 roles are there. Role 1, role 2, role 3, role 4, role 5. If the current logged in user has any of the mentioned roles, okay, then it will say true. If the current logged in user has any of the mentioned roles, it will say true. Any one role. If the current logged in user doesn't have any of the mentioned roles, it will additionally check for the admin access. It will act like has role and has role from list. Okay, has role from list. Has role will check if the current logged in user has that role or not. If yes, it will say true. If no, it will additionally check for the admin access. Similarly, if the current logged in user has any of the mentioned roles, it will say true. If the current logged in user doesn't have any of the mentioned roles, it will additionally check for the admin access. So now in this case, current logged in user doesn't have any of the mentioned roles, right? So still it will give you Boolean value as true. You can see here. Now the expected output is true. Getting my point? Hmm? Likewise, we'll be using these glide form methods. These are the important methods. These are the important methods. What are the important methods? G underscore user dot. These are some of the glide form methods. Likewise, you have to remember each and every method. You should understand where it is useful, which method is useful at what time. Use cases we'll be discussing slowly in coming sessions. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about a glide form API, which is very important. That is very important. Okay, glide form is also a client-side API, which can only be used in the client-side script. You understand, right? Current logged in user. Hmm? I'll give you a small example. When I open the incident form here, as soon as I open the incident form in the caller field, my name, current logged in user name should be populated. Who is the current logged in user? System administrator. System administrator name should be populated here. Whenever I open the form, by default, my name should be populated here. Then what I will do, I'll write a logic in such way that if condition, glide form I did not explain yet. I'm using glide user, G underscore user dot user ID, G underscore form dot is new required. Ignore about glide form. So whenever I open the form, whenever I open the new form, current logged in user name should be automatically populated here. Is it populating? Whenever I open the form, new form, only on the new form. That is why I wrote the condition here. I wrote the condition here. If it is new form, in the caller field, show the current logged in user system. Getting my point? So when I open the incident form in the caller field, current logged in user name should be populated. Then I have used glide user. You understand? See, when I open problem form, let us take a change form. When I open change request form, so in the change request form, as soon as I open it, current logged in user name is populated here. How is it populated? If it is a new record, populate the current logged in user name as requested by. That is the logic that is written. Getting my point? If you remember, we were populating the current logged in user name on the new records using default value. Do you remember that? I told you. Whenever I open the form, in the color field, current logged in user name should be populated as default value, I told. We were able to achieve it using default value concept. In the dictionary properties, we using default value concept, we were able to achieve it. Then what is the need of using scripting here? So in this example, we don't need to use scripting. We can go for directly default value. If it is an advanced, if there is advanced condition, if there is an advanced condition, then we have to go for scripting. No, it will work only on the incident form because we have written the script on the incident form only, right? You can see table is selected as incident here. Okay, it will not work on all the forms. It will work only on the incident form. So logic will work on incident form whenever the record, new record. In the incident form only, if it is a new record, caller field value will be populated as current logged in user. Okay. So the glide user part is clear, right? Okay. You can play around. You can play around this glide user API in different platforms. Okay. Before I start use cases, you can play around about this glide user API in different platforms. Okay. Tomorrow we are going to discuss about a glide form API. Hmm? Okay. Any questions from anyone? To God's grace, today I have energy to speak. So that's all because of this Chendu bomb, as well as that cough syrup. Okay.